Welcome to WROL Broadcast. Today we are discussing the raid's aftermath for the third raid. And today I have with me Loot and Kage.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Now let's check in with Miller Time to see what he thought of raids.
Miller Time.
Holy shit, is this normal? That's some weird code coming up on. Look at that flickering over here. Look at this. What the fuck is that? Look. Look at this. Look at this shit. What the kind of shit is this? I mean, I ain't no game expert, but I mean, I don't think that's normal, brother. I mean, shit.
So let's go ahead and start. I know Loot, we had a 3-day version of the event, which I saw a lot of people were not happy that we had 3 days. I personally am very happy we had an extra day because it made it a little less horrible than it was the last time. Still pretty horrible. Loot, I know you hit your 500 million points to get your rebirth tokens on the second day, which was insanity.
First to 500. Woohoo!
We should get a trophy for that.
I grinded hard.
Now, I guess you could have taken first place, but you weren't as insane as Bruce Wayne from UGLA COA, who got 1 billion points. That guy's a madman.
After I hit 500, I basically lost complete interest in doing the raid at all. The only reason why I put in extra points was to maintain top 10.
After 5,000, I was ready to mail it in.
I opened the app and I said, nope, we're not playing DC Legends this weekend. See you guys later.
I almost decided it wasn't worth it on Sunday morning, and then I was like, I can't give up on these rebirth crystals. And that's the problem, is that the rewards, they did improve the rewards, especially in the rankings, because you got the Barda shards and you got a lot of XP meta agents, and I mean, they were good rewards, I will say that, but the grind is, oh gosh, and they're going to do it every month because they made a ton of gems and a lot of players playing. I know we're going to have at the end of this episode, I have statements. I asked for recordings. I've so far gotten 0, but I got a lot of people posting their name and their feedback, so I'll kind of read through a plethora of the feedback, but just as a first skim over, a lot of the free-to-play and Gear 10 players really love the raids because the rewards were worth it and they weren't worried about going to 500 million, so when you're not worried about that, it's probably a lot more pleasant. But when you are an in-game player and you really want the rarest item in the game, which is those crystals, you're going to force yourself to do the grind and you're going to hate life. And
the funny thing is that they know how to squeeze your whales, you know?
Yeah. Now, Luke, you said you didn't spend a lot of gems on this.
I didn't. I barely spent any gems, so...
How'd you do it? Well, you can't give everyone your playbook, huh?
Oh, come on, give them your playbook.
The only thing that I spent gems on was PvE energy.
Right, but that's
and
what...
I would have used it anyway.
Okay.
So I didn't even. Maybe I spent 5,000 gems.
Wow.
You made back like a ton of stuff anyway, right?
Yeah, like the gems didn't bother. Like I didn't mind. I'm not the faint of heart with spending, so it didn't bother me. I would have spent more, if I could have decreased the grind.
That's
Hell,
one suggestion that I
let me
have.
just buy rank levels. I'll pay from the get-go $100 to go from rank 0 to rank, to 250 million points. Then I'll
Well,
just do the rest.
what I was going to make a suggestion on this, and Warner Brothers, if you're listening, I know some people didn't like this idea. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna, buy your way through raids." Well, yeah, you don't want to give you the energy, like don't give you 250 million energy, but let you just skip milestones with gems. I'd much rather see that. And that way you're not affecting the leaderboard. So if people want to compete on the leaderboard and get the Barda shards and the XP meta agents, that's fine. But for people who don't have the time, energy, or will to do the horrific grind, just let the milestones be skippable or purchasable, because that's really, all I care about is the rebirth crystals. Everybody else can have all the other stuff.
That really reminds me of when we played that other game when they had the tower, and you could, by paying gems, you could skip milestones.
Because it's trivial content. It's not like you're skipping PvP or something. It's autoplay content. So who cares?
It is all auto. Zero skill, zero brain power. It's just hit the button and go.
Yeah, the funny thing is that you whales, us fish people, we pay a lot of money for our rosters. We invest a lot of time on our rosters, only for endgame content to play itself, to have the AI, watch the AI play the game for us. It's so mind-boggling.
Yeah, well,
the only thing we use our characters for right now, and we truly put a lot of thought into it, is Siege. That is the only thing we use our rosters for.
honestly, and if there was no Siege, I don't think I'd be here anymore.
I don't think I'd play the game. Why play it all? I have no reason to play on auto. It's dumb.
I agree.
But with that said, grinds like Wraith Arena, you have to, because it's the only way to make it. I play, when I'm not worried about my placement, I play normal and screw around with crazy teams and experiment for Siege, but Siege is the pinnacle of the game in my mind. I wish there was PvE content.
The end game activity.
I wish there was PvE content that was equivalent to Siege, where it wasn't just a mindless grind and it required strategy and skill. Kind of like,
I think they started making red alerts like that, but they haven't retuned red alerts in 2 years.
that bothers me all the time, because red alerts is like, they have the platform right there to make a great red alert. So they could even leave it the way it is, and then when you refresh it, there's better rewards, and it's harder, and it requires more skill and strategy.
Totally agree. That would be such a great game mode to play.
On board with that. Now let's talk about I just want to talk about the raid rewards real quick, because you're spending, I don't know, 50 hours playing. I was playing casually, but I made it up to like all the 15, meta agents for gear, and I'm like, dude, I could have like played normal upgrade events for like 5 minutes, paid 200 gems, and I would have had just as much material. So the rewards, I don't think, are that impressive either.
The
I
shards,
didn't think they were impressive at all.
well, the shards and the XP meta agents were good.
Yeah, but that's the top tier. That was the leaderboard reward. I think he's talking about the milestones.
Yeah, maybe
'cause
they. I don't know.
I don't see why Gear 10 and lower players enjoy the raids. If you could pop, I don't know, 200 gems into the upgrade events, refresh.
Yeah, but if you
couple
play
times.
the low nodes, and then you get your own bosses, and you finish them, you get more energy than you spend. So it's actually turns into, like, if you're free to play, you don't have to buy anything.
I mean, sure, if you like speckles of material and call it, good endgame content, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing they could change in the milestones, and I think they started making the change, but they didn't take it far enough. So they now make it so you get 8 rebirth tokens if you get all the way to milestone 70. It's almost a slap in the face that you're going to do this entire grind and you still can't rebirth one character.
Yeah, it should be 10.
It's got to be 10.
But I see what they did there. If raids are going to be monthly, and you're going to get 8, you're going to want World Finest for Siege. Because there's a 10.
Only one person will
And
rebirth
those
per month.
rebirth tokens need to be retuned as well. That it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It
2
should be
and
18.
1.
If they want to do it,
give me a
do 22 for World Finest.
Sure. Why not? I think they should make it 20 for World's Finest and
10 for the top 10?
15
5
for the top
20?
10, 15 for the top 10, and 10 for the top 20.
Yeah, I mean, I wish these rebirth crystals were. I mean, I don't mind that they're slightly rare, but I wish they were a little less slightly rare. Because the shards
Even
are
with
already expensive
making-
and hard to come by.
Even with upping them, even if they were to upgrade the reward to 10 tokens, you're talking about 1 rebirth. 1. How many characters do you have?
Yeah.
Over 100. Bullseye has over 80 characters right now, rebirth ready.
And he'll never be able to do them all because
No.
characters can rebirth 5 times. I mean, we're looking at 20 years before you could rebirth even half your roster.
Oh my God. Yeah, 20
Think
years.
DCL's going to be around in the
minimum.
next 20 years?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, they need to open
think
it up
they have
at
a
some
great
point.
concept, but they need maybe there's new content we don't know about that they're holding it off on. I don't know.
No, I think they wanted to kind of trickle it out. It does seem like it's opening up a teeny bit more and a teeny bit more, but it's really, really slow.
Now, I would appreciate it if they would add it to the gems, the gem packs. You know, maybe how we buy. You get 250 frags, you get 25,000 gems,
And 1
throw in
rebirth
5.
crystal.
Throw in. Well, I was going to say throw in 5. Throw in 5 crystals.
No, you
Yeah,
know they're
but
going to
you
put
know
in
they're going to
one,
be like,
You know they can put no. What they're gonna do is RNG the rebirth crystal. So it's be like, oh, a chance at a rebirth.
a chance to get 1.
All right, I'll just take the 1. Let's not do a chance for 1. This isn't some kind of gacha game.
You know, I had another idea for rebirth. Instead of using crystals, they should let you do a thing where if you have a character at level 80, gear 11, and this would also solve a second problem that I have. If you've played Call of Duty, let you prestige a character back to level 1, gear 1, and then you have to max them all the way back out, and that makes them rebirth 1. Rebirth 2.
I would do that.
It'd be expensive, it'd be a way to do it, and it would also solve the gearing problem.
Do you think that maybe they should give us
You
a
are
choice?
a madman. Nate.
Well,
Do
yeah,
we get a choice?
yeah, you choose. You pay. You even have to pay like 1,000 gold to do it, and then you bring a character from nothing to max, and then you get a free rebirth for doing it.
Now going back to
Now,
the
does
raid.
that also wipe out your rings too?
I would almost
Probably.
think. I would think it has to make it, and you would still need the shards to do it.
Just not the crystals.
Yeah, you're basically sacrificing it all for the crystals. I'd be willing to do it. That's how insane.
I'd do it.
You guys are crazy. Going back to the raids, I don't
we just
think
completely derailed the topic.
I don't think they're gonna change the format much at all. It's gonna be autoplay. I just got the sneaking suspicion that the leads and the execs at WB don't care. They're just like,
Well,
hey,
look how many people are playing it. Using tons, buying tons of energy, and it's exactly
Yeah.
what they want the players to do. I mean, the game obviously tons of people are playing when the game is lagging to the point where it barely is playable.
you're right.
Honestly, the servers really, really had a tough time.
Oh yeah.
In any game, every game, management looks at player participation, and player participation was extremely high.
So they're gonna call it a grand slam, even though no one liked it. So
Yeah, well,
there you go.
it doesn't matter. People say they don't like it, but they play the crap out of it and spend a ton of gems. So
I think it's gonna if they continue to not make changes, like meaningful changes, I think what's going to happen is it might take a couple raids for it to happen, but I think the player base is going to drop off.
Oh, they'll get bored out of their minds. I mean, you will burn out on it.
We lost two players like right away.
Yeah, look at how many owls burned out from just playing that.
It's going to take several months. There needs to be other things.
Today.
I mean, they're going to have to. They need to make the bigger bosses spawn earlier, so that you can do it in a, more reasonable amount of time, or make them like we said before, make the milestones perishable, so that lower Gear 10 players they'll be happy going up the ladder. The people that are insane enough to go to 1 billion points can fight for the leaderboard, and then the rest of us who just don't have that kind of time, we can still not miss out on rebirth tokens. Or if rebirth tokens are available through some other avenue more easily, then I won't even care about it at all. So,
I want to go back to what you just said about how the bosses should spawn sooner. So I was thinking about it, and instead of it being time gated, I think they should make it milestone gated.
That's a great idea.
They should change it. Instead of it being like the first 24 hours, you can only get up to a level 15. Well, if you get to milestone 25, you get higher bosses.
Well, the only problem with that is the sharing of dark side. And then there's that...
But you can share them, and that only helps other people out, but they can't spawn their own until they're that level.
They also need to adjust dark side in the fact that you could walk in, do 1 point of damage, and get 500,000 XP off him.
Yeah, a lot of players were actually doing that.
I mean, I was doing it. I'm not going to lie.
I did hit and run. I did that a couple times.
Oh, everybody did. And that, I think there needs to be a baseline, so maybe you get like 200,000 or 100,000 just for participating at all. So if you're a really low character and you can't do much damage, but then it should be based on percentage damage. You should get XP based around, so there's an incentive to go in and beat him.
You know what, though? Fighting Darkseid, he had so much health that it was almost stupid.
Yeah, you were better off just doing the 90 step.
It took, I don't know. I hit him twice and then gave up, and then I still got the MVP. It's like if you hit him like at least 2 times, you'll get the MVP. And then I just left and let everybody else kill him because I would have sunk like 3, 6, 9... I don't know, 15 energy on one fight.
Well, they should have just a pool of XP. Like, Darkseid could be worth a gazillion points, and then it's based off percent of damage. So that way, if you do 90% of the damage, you get 90% of the XP rewards, which could be like 9 million XP.
I agree with you. I think that would be awesome.
The other suggestion I saw that I really like would be if Darkseid had the timer, because we kept having the timeouts and the bugs, and there was so many issues with that. I think
many bugs.
An easy fix for them to do is make the timer not start until somebody takes the first move.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. And also, it not freezing would be a really good thing, too.
Yeah.
Because you lose the energy that you just spent, and you don't get it back. It's not like the game's refunding you every single fight.
Yeah, and you lose so much energy.
Every fight.
And then every now and again when you just can't spawn bosses for no apparent reason.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with the raid bosses, but I did have a problem with the Alliance boss. It just wouldn't spawn.
Yeah, they still need to fix that. But my biggest gripe is you still can't use debuffs on Darkseid. You can like stun Barda and stun Mr. Miracle and I think Steppenwolf, but you can't really do much with like the other bosses.
No, you couldn't debuff him at all.
Yeah,
that was really lame.
I'm disappointed in raids as a whole. I was expecting some kind of node-based thing where there was a lot of strategy, kind of like Siege, where you had a limited number of energy or limited number of lives with a small bonus pool of characters, and then you had to really strategize how you're going to beat the boss, and it would have been a communal thing. Like the whole alliance
And they could actually do that over the course of 25 to 30 days.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be
the other thing. Some people wanted this shorter. I wouldn't mind it going back to just 24 hours, 100 million threshold. But if they don't want to do that, make it a week long and have the big bosses spawn like halfway through the week. That way
make it 100 million threshold.
Yeah, I like 100 million threshold. But I mean, if they want to leave a 500 million over a course of an entire week, I'd be okay with that because then I could do it a little more casually.
I don't know. server's lagging for a whole week. I don't know
I
if
don't
I can
think it
handle
would though,
that,
because
man.
people would space it out. It would be more spaced out with people. And if they did
Yeah,
like
that's
what
true.
Lou said, where the milestones unlock the bosses as opposed to just a artificial time gate, then if people want to go nuts for competing against the top 10, top 20, they got a whole week to do it. They'll probably make way more money in the end for people doing that.
I have a perfect meme for the raise, but I'm afraid of posting it. You know.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I wouldn't recommend it either. I'd give it to someone else and let them post it.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, you guys can continue. I apologize. I gotta go.
Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. We'll go, and now we will do some community reading. Okay, let's get into some community feedback. There was quite a bit sent to me. Unfortunately, no one sent me any audio, but they did send me a ton of texts that people wanted me to read. Some of these are a little longer than I would have liked, but that's okay. I want to make sure we get this out. And I apologize in advance. I'm going to butcher every single one of your names most likely because that's what I do. So let's get into it. Also, I'm going to read it pretty much word for word on the ones that I can't just skim through. So if it sounds a little funny, that's just how it was written to me. First one comes from Humble Benaya. He said, I want to let you know that I thought this raid thing was good as I get a free-to-play player, somebody that's at a lower level. I really thought it was good, and I appreciate the fact that there are raids to help low-level people gear up. Fortunately, I think a lot of people are past that and stayed at this point. I feel like they're just going through the motions because this is something new to do, and they really don't see that it's not for people that have been playing this game forever, and that it's also to help new players gear up. I do understand where you as a higher level player would get frustrated because like I don't need all this stuff, but for somebody that's lower level, I do get that and I do understand that how people get frustrated by it, but I just really think it's good. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it up to where you're able to get the Alan Scott fragments, which is what I was shooting for, which was a disappointment as a free-to-play player. That's the only thing I can get. That's the only way I can get new stuff. So could be better. You guys love the show. Thanks. Bye. Thanks, Humble Benaya. The next one is from Defiler666. Overall, I think raids are a pretty great idea. The rewards are pretty great. My main ish is the spawn rate seems pretty low compared to the last time. Pretty frustrating. I will also say I think the timer is pretty lame as well, and I agree it takes any strategy out of it. Also, I'm curious to know if any of the quality of life updates are going to include revisions to the PvP systems. It remains the most frustrating element of the game, and quite frankly, if anything makes me stop playing, it's the fact that I'm consistently unable to clear my boards because I'm constantly facing teams more than 5,000 points higher than me. I'm sure you can't discuss anything in detail, but if you know anything is being thought about, that'd be interesting to know. Thanks for the pod. I love it and keep up the great work. We definitely appreciate the kind words. I don't know of anything specific with the PvP system. I know that lots of questions have been asked about it and it's been brought up a few times. So my guess, and this is purely guess and speculation, is that it is being worked on or some ideas are coming to the table. When or if that happens, I unfortunately have no idea. The next one is from DMCG66. I thought it was actually fun. Yes, it was a grind, but that is what I do. The only issue I had was it was mostly smartest to build energy and wait until the last day to cash in. I prefer actually play my game so I do not have to converse so much. I wish the best strategy was to play, attack, and kill boss, not just pop up in for a 500k reward and leave it up to others. These are not huge deals to me, but I decided to have fun the first 2 days and then try to cash in on the last day. I bought 3 energy packs to be sure I stayed top 500. I was pretty happy with this as a Gear 10 person. The next on the list, let's go to, I had one from Discord. This was from Legion. He said, I have Red Alert and PvP spawn raid bosses as well. I want to see who is attacking the bosses before I join them. Suggestion, where it shows how many players are attacking, make a list of names if you hold a finger over it. Also make it possible to share fights you do not intend to due to lack of raid energy or not being able to solo to gain momentum, etc. This means sharing the fight before you join the fight, not costing resources. Couldn't press on the CC. All right, let's check Reddit. First one is from Shape69. I thought the first 2 days, 1 to 2 days, were worthless. No point in buying raid energy because I could not get any bosses to spawn. Sat at like 36 to 6 energy most of the time. Then the final day was nonstop. I don't understand why the bosses were, for example, 5.636 million. Do I still need to fight them, or was it a waste of energy because I was stuck? For me, the raid bosses just attacked one person the entire time. Felt weird, but whenever Alan Scott was, that's who they went after. Everyone else was ignored. This time it seemed much more expensive. I like the last siege. I loaded up a mats. This time I maybe got a fourth of what I got last time because I didn't spend 20k gold. Yes, I don't know. I think me and Luke talked about it earlier in the show. We definitely liked the idea of milestones unlocking bosses, or it's them. I see why they want to gate it, but the gating kind of ruins the mild enjoyment you get from it. Next one comes from Triple OG 2015. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a little better than the last time. Barter Frags was a nice addition. 3 days is definitely too long. Still bugs and way too repetitive. It should definitely be stated which debuffs would be allowed, bleeds, true damage, etc. Definitely agree with that. Next one's from Blaze and Bobby. I spent about 2,000 gems on raid energy refills. I wound up in the top 1,200. The dark side bosses were nonstop for me. I really enjoyed this raid. It definitely seems like a lot of people, especially that were below Gear 11, enjoyed the raid a lot more than endgame players. Next one comes from Even More Better. My biggest gripes were one, hackers again learning how to cheat the system and screw everyone else. Yep, that was annoying. I can share with you that there was a team that worked over the weekend that made sure that they removed rewards from many of these hackers. Unfortunately, it didn't stop them from stealing your bosses sometimes, but do know that they were being addressed. That is confirmed. Second is energy was easy to stack up energy the first few days and have over 120 over 6 by the third day, but then all the lower level bosses and alliance bosses stopped generating, so I had to either spend all my energy to make a dent in dark side or settle for spending 1 energy per fight against a level 150 dark side over and over simply because I ran out. Yeah, I had some of the same problems. It was really annoying. The next one was Puchono. Overall, I enjoyed it. It's still total mash fesh on Watto, but having a few different bosses and affinities let me spend my time optimizing my teams. 3 days is too long. I'd prefer they lower the 500 point milestone, but if not, 2 days isn't enough. I 500 with 3 hours to spare, and I played a ton, but it didn't feel as quite as grindy as the last one, where I was nowhere near the top milestones. In the end, about 30 players made it, which sounds like a decent number. It's maybe self-defeating, but one thing I want to bring up is the massive disparity in game experience between the haves and the have-nots. Haves are the end-game players with fully geared Alan Scott. The have-nots are everyone else. Were guys in my alliance who spent all their gems buying raid energy. I spent around 400 gems for blue energy the first day and maybe 200 the second day, and that was it. I generated about 400 raid energy and lived off that the rest of my way to the top 20 finish. I farmed minimally the last day, just waited for the 150 dark side to pop up, and then poach MVP. 2 battles usually did it. Something about that doesn't seem right. I definitely agree with that. That just seems crappy. And I actually did spend more gems than that, which was to get Barda from Gear 5 to Gear 11, which did get me a bunch of bosses. Lastly, the most important thing, hackers. And I just addressed that. They did work on that. They did have a weekend team removing the hackers. That's why you didn't see any in the top finishing. There might have been one or two that snuck through, but for the most part, they seemed to remove them before the end. And even afterwards, because they gated the rewards to the very end, any hackers were not given rewards. Just a thought about the finisher trophy everyone seems to hate so much. This is from Quirky Muse. What if they created a slightly lesser but still significant reward for surviving dark side, which is to say the achievement to awarded a player who has at least one active toon fighting dark sides when he's defeated by a different player? For instance, I don't remember the actual award, but it doesn't really matter for the sake of example. If the finisher grants 30 blue energy and 2 alliance raid bosses, maybe a survival achievement grants 15 blue energy, 1 alliance bolt. This is still to encourage people to fight right until the end, hopefully mitigating some of the anger about losing finisher. That's a good suggestion too. AHZNB, I don't know how he pronounces it, so I'm just spelling it out. They should test out the new boss mode on alliance bosses. Instead of one boss on a timer to defeat him or her, turn it unlimited time wave of random mini bosses, kind of like Lord of the Unliving, except with unlimited wave. Each wave will require a different tactic to beat. Beating each wave rewards all participating members. It never despawns and it's always there. And then he wrote in italics. I know this is going to cause a lot of bugs at first. That's probably true, but that's what I thought raids were going to be. Honestly, I thought it was going to be unlimited waves, and then you go until you run out of characters, and you do it over a course of several days, or maybe your entire alliance does it over the course of a week. That would be so much fun, so much more strategic. and whoever can make it to the furthest wave would be the top alliance. I love that idea, and I think that would be the best way of doing it. Last one on Reddit is from Alamba. On the first day, I bought raid energies and PvP energies worth about 8,000 10,000 gems, only to know that half of them battles either restarted or didn't even start battling. Either cases, I lost so many energies and I want my gems back, at least for the ones I lost. Absolutely horrible and yet silly bugs. Yeah, I agree with that. That was a lot of bugs, but it improved from the last time, so gonna give them, probably gonna take, like Kage had said before, probably 4 or 5 raids. All right, let's go to Reddit page number 2. Lord Mulliton here. Remove the timer because it removes the experience. Too much waiting and mindless grinding. Definitely agree there. I'd rather see it turn-based. How many turns? It's a turn-based game, for God's sakes. Raids were supposed to be fun and engaging mode, not mindless farm on like heroic mission. Remove scaling level bosses. First 2 days are easily beat by engaging battles with 1 or 2 dark side. Make bleeds work. Fix out of syncs. They're happening all time. Miller time. Don't play it. Probably best for everyone. uh, Speaking of which, let's take a moment to listen to some Miller time. Actually, I'm going to put this at the beginning, so scratch that. And I don't want to go back in and edit this because I have to leave on vacation tomorrow morning. Firewings here. Firewings 906 here. Pros, 40 Allen Scott shards, gives lots of XP agency. Cons, Wire Barter shards only starting from the top 1,000 at rank 1,300. This is infuriating. Grinding's terrible. Number 2. 3, give better spawn rates for bosses. 4, 0 incentive to kill a Steppenwolf boss for sub Gear 11 player. Use 1 energy, attack dark side, get 500 points, easiest way to go. Then it's a matter of luck getting level 150 dark sides. 5, more rewards, triple them. 6, hate the bugs. I don't think they should triple rewards. I do think they should triple lower tier rewards to help, because this should be a mode to help gear, let lower level players gear, and then do something that lets endgame players skip some of the grind, make it harder, more challenging, more expensive, any of the above, all the above, and so we don't have to spend 9,000 years grinding. 8, make true damage count. Bleeds not as cheetah. Siren dark full rule. Hate the hackers who one-shot bosses. Alliance awards need to be better. Yeah, I agree. Alliance awards really seem subpar. GL17 machine. I find it extremely ironic that something called raids has so many bugs. That was the quote of the century. I don't remember who first posted that. I think if that was you, hilarious. AHZNB, raid bugs, damn beats. Negatives, raid system's not engaging at all. Literally bashing raids on auto while watching a movie for 3 days in a row is not a good gaming experience, especially for a highly anticipated event. The features tunes feel random and out of place for the event's purpose. Garrick, Barda, Mr. Miracle, Ares. While some of them are great tunes and PvP content, the damage race is totally lackluster. Even with bonus multiplier and a DPS race, you need DPS, which these tunes are not. There are still crashes, out of sync, rewards are meaningless, less technical problems, attractive for beginning players, or the positives, less technical problems than the other time, a decent improvement overall, attractive for beginning players, Siege paywall character, extra frags, and leaderboard rewards. Godspeed Lee, good, free PvE energy, early milestones, inclusion of most Siege, 3-day format, bad, ugly, pretty much the same thing everybody else is saying, out of sync, boss distribution, benefits of sharing, time versus reward, just too much grind, solo milestones. So guys, I'm going to start speeding through some of this because some of these are really long. Really good feedback on a lot of this, and I will make sure that if Reeves hasn't seen these, she will definitely get some of this feedback. Now let's go to some of the feedback from the CC. This is from Fandango, also in areas of one boss. Maybe we can have a boss. Team of villains, we haven't figured out how to beat them. Vaus86 says the biggest issue with raids in most MMOs, raids are about teamwork, not individual achievement. This needs to be more focused on alliance engagement, not a person's ability to grind. I completely agree with that. This is not. I don't even know why they call it raids. This is not raids. This is an individual event for the most part. There's no teamwork involved. Kal-El 292 mainly complained about bugs. You expect to play this game with bigger developers expect you to play this game too much in order to get bigger rewards. So if this is the case, it needs to spawn bigger bosses earlier in the event. I think we all agree on that one. Next one, Gin Addiction is 1, increase spawn rate just a little bit, maybe 1 in 3 instead of 1 in every 4.5 battles. Yeah, it seems super random on that. 2, ability to individually dismiss bosses, including active ones. Jonathan 101, Jonathan 0. I just played the last day, was good for me, but wanted to play more, missed out. One thing they need to do is put raid bosses in PvP. I'd spend more energy there. Yeah, I definitely would like to see that. That'd be nice. But I do prefer to be able to just speed force because if you're on bent on the timer, it should just spawn from anything. PvP too. I don't like how Darkside behind a timer. That was new content. Next up is Craig. He said it was better than before, but I mean, at least this time I got Darkside to spawn and some other high-level setup on wolves to spawn. Third day, I guess I helped gain more points, but it's still boring grind fest. There's no strategy. Around the clock, it's just a bad idea for a battle system. Next one's from Fritz0690. I enjoyed it. Did not lose sleep. Need some tweaking. 20 minutes for energy is okay. However, a limit of 6 does not work, as it does not do enough. It was fun when there were bosses. Rich Kid 90210. First, legendary raid bosses and Alliance energy. I'd like to know how it works. Sometimes I was rewarded Alliance energy for attacking Darkside shards by non-Alliance members. Sometimes I was not rewarded. It matters if you were the finisher or if you were the finder. There was a couple different criteria and you got energy. The Alliance energies gave raid energy and Darkside gave Alliance energy. Then Trangerson. It was not fun. Low spawn rates for the first 2 days. The Deluge's battles in the last day, none in the last hour. All not fun. Having to make top 1,000 for decent rewards, also not fun. But the worst part was having to play throwing 1 point in Darkside battle, striking once, let the clock run out. That was awful, boring, and cheap. By the way, guys, you didn't have to wait for the clock to run out. You could just back out, and you still got the 500,000. The 3 days of this event practically killed my interest in the game. I did not plan on participating in the future. Psychopath 1525. It was a positive experience, kind of. The points you get just by participating in the fight was pretty decent, if not generous. I felt there was no difference between having and not having MVP. Better rewards must be given to those who damage the boss a good deal. Maybe the points you receive should be proportional to damage dealt. Yeah, I think we talked about that earlier in the podcast. Agree with that. Reading this the next day, so I don't remember everything we said. Although initially spawn rates were very low, I was lucky enough to get a decent amount of spawns shares after Darkside became active. Major problem was game freezing. Raids seemed tedious and tiresome. I felt like a job. Yeah, I agree with you there. Nangem definitely feels like it needs some time tuning. I like the concept. I like the fact that you really have strong synergy. Like that you're forced to strategize. Wish milestones were more achievable for lower ranked players. Wish they gave more than 6 energy. Hope they don't use this as a way to drive sales by making top bonus characters the new characters every time. Well, I mean, you just got extra for Bardos. I thought that was pretty fair how they did that. If it's the paywall every time, it definitely gives lower tier players the ability to get more shards quicker. Norvernick, I like the concept. Hope they can work out the kink. I had real difficulty getting bosses spawned. Don't know if that can be tweaked. Commander Supremo 1, I think it would be more exciting if raid bosses were shared with your alliance only. Yeah, I don't know about that one. STFE, I will choose the alliance boss for future because I imagine in one team working together trying to defeat a boss would be more exciting. The time for the alliance boss maybe once a week. It could be Saturday or Sunday or maybe Saturday and Sunday. Kitty Little, raid sucks. It's very direct and normal. Fandango again, in the end I just spent the minimum points. The raid boss, hoping others can finish the raid, get part of the loot. Quite a few bosses popping up at any given time. JMurder0002, I've seen that name quite a bit recently. Inhaling raid would be more fun. I would not recommend that. Thoughtful Jock 4747, simply put, change them or get rid of them. This game's about strategy, not button mashing. A lot of us are picking our way through the battles with Darkside and try to accumulate many points as possible, feeding off the work of heavy hitters that have done. Hitting some milestones are great rewards, but for the most part they're terrible and the amount of time necessary is just crazy. Adding 3x speed did nothing to make them better, just made it slightly faster. Many others have stated, including myself, they're not fun. It's all buggy and it's a way to drive us more away over a long period of time. All right, and that is pretty much everything. I will get this podcast up. Don't know if anybody found that interesting, but we will add it to the podcast. And I am off on vacation, so you probably won't hear from me for about a week.
Hey everyone, it's Tootytron. Thank you for listening to WROL Broadcasts. If you like the show, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/WROL Broadcasts. Oh, guys, I think DP's glitching out. Oh god. I think he's gonna blow. Yikes. Maybe we should reboot him.